All right, welcome back to another Unheard News. We're going to get it started for today, December 7th, 2022. All right, so let's get it started today with some big news out of the Supreme Court, okay? All right, as you can see here, this is from supremecourt.gov. Oh, let me scratch back there, back a little bit. All right, supremecourt.gov. All right, move the camera for here a little bit. As you can see, this is really big. We got something for you today here. This is titled Roland J. Brunson, the Petitioner versus Alma S. Adams et al. All right, this is a court case out of the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. All right, this was filed by the Brunson brothers. All right, with the eldest brother, the Brunson, being the name on the petitioner. And this is the case that has been brewing. Has been mostly held silent by the main. It is not just mostly, it's been held silent by the mainstream media. It was actually held up by the 10th Supreme Court. Then all of a sudden, on the technical maneuver, it it catapulted and skyrocketed past the 10th Circuit and straight to the Supreme Court. All right, this is a case involving what people say about what happened in 2020. This is a case pending that almost let's say forget it. Almost 388 members of Congress violated the Constitution, violated the law by not holding a 10-day recess to see all the evidence that is going on. Okay, this is a case that has been brought up on that procedure, and if it stands, and if they hear the Supreme Court agrees to hear it, because it is now it has its own docket number, and as you can see, the docket number in the case is 22-380 or 22-380. Okay, that is a docket number for the case. And if the Supreme Court takes the case, we can see the potential removal of over 388 members of Congress, shutdown of Congress, and the removal of the current United States of America Corporation. Okay, so this is pretty big. This is really big news. How to get this case here, and we got more in the details of it. So here we go right here. This is in the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, the Supreme Court of the United States. Roland J. Brunson, the petitioner, versus Alma S. Adams et al. All right, and here we go. It says more in depth for the case. The government hereby waives its rights to file a response into the petition in this case unless requested to do so by the court. So the government was given an opportunity to respond to it. They didn't respond. They waived their rights to respond to it. So this is really big. This is really going on, okay? So pay attention to this case. Get this out to everybody so that everybody knows what's going on with this case here. And if you go down, I can't go scroll down a little bit further. I gotta move the camera down. So remove the camera down a little bit, and as you can see here, this is Ogden, Utah. Okay, so please get this word out to everybody about this is pretty big, about what's going on with the violations of the law from Congress and the possible if found within the parameters of the law that Congress violated the law, and they could possibly be facing members of crap ton of members of Congress being removed and possibly charged by the Justice Department, and even possibly going to see a military tribunal. Okay, so please get this word out. This is in the Supreme Court. This is Supreme Court docket number 22-380. Okay, so please get this word out. Right, this is really big, and they're not even covering the mainstream media. Of course they wouldn't. Okay, but get this word out. All right, this is from supremecourt.gov. All right, supremecourt.gov. All right, and then on the front with the battle for the world at stake, and you got the deep state versus the Planetary Liberation Alliance. And then you got issues going on all left, right. All right, you see this Real War News. Military Civil War begins. This is possibly, as you can see with the upside down flag. We already know that this is the war flag of the corporation. The real flag of the United States is actually the same as this flag here, but the field is white instead of blue. All right, the blue means symbolizing the nation is at war. Okay. All right, and then it says stated here that a clash broke out when credible evidence by the White Hats that it was actually a truck full of weapons headed to another IRS tank where they plan to arm the IRS agents to come down and take down us, we the people. All right. And it seems that the military right has found out what's going on. They laid a trap for it, only for the trap to be only for the deep state to get a word of about it. Leaks within the White Hats have been compromised, and many of the White Hats have learned to figure out what's going on. And not just the White Hats, but the Planetary Liberation Alliance. They call the White Hats the white of the section of the U.S. military, and and they laid a trap only for the when they captured the truck with 18-wheeler. They flung up the doors only for 6 men in U.S. Army uniforms set an ambush for themselves. They tried to ambush the ambushers, but ultimately they were defeated by the Planetary Liberation Whitehead section of the U.S. military. Okay, this is pretty big. The Whiteheads is still down the head of the head of the Planetary Liberation Alliance Whitehead Division U.S. military section, and is General David H. Berger, and he's vowed to figure out how did they find out how what's going on, and if these were actually U.S. Army soldiers, okay, or they were just throwing on Army uniforms, okay. But this is really big. This means things have escalated beyond the told about what's going on, and we need to follow the story more and more, okay. So get this out to everybody. All right, this is from RealRideNews.com. All right, and then we got another story from Real Ride News. Our final story for the day: so-called defense Secretary of Defense for the corporation has ordered all White Hats to surrender. White Hats branch of the U.S. military, part of the Planetary Liberation Alliance, has ordered everybody to surrender. He sent a letter to all officers, all head officers of the military alliance, and including lower-ranking officers as well too. Okay, many of them flat out rejected it. There has been rumors that some of them has defected and they've managed to be vanished and disappeared. They've gone into hiding. That's what this so-called reported news has been unconfirmed. We're waiting to confirm those stories. But we have, according to the story here, Lord Austin sent these letters to the military, the White Hat section of the U.S. military of the Planetary Liberation Alliance, trying to free the world from tyranny. And he sent the letters to General Berger and a bunch of other officers demanding that they denounce President of the Restored Republic of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, and a bunch of other folks saying you need to denounce him, say all your things were unconstitutional. But according to the story here, once you get into it, because it's kind of a lengthy story, many of them just took the letters and tore up. Rear Admiral Darcy Crandall, he's leading the officer charged in Guantanamo Bay of prosecution of deep staters and traitors. He flat out said rejected the letter. If you can go down here a little bit. We can get this article here. Oh, shoot. It's pretty big. All right, put it on. Okay, here it goes. Vice Admiral Crandall, head of the United States Navy Judge Advocate General's Corps, General Corps, top received the threatening letter received by Austin. The letter ordered Crandall to immediately free Gilmore detainees, cease unlawful prosecution, and turn himself in. In response, Crandall wrote back, I have a better idea. Turn yourself in, Lloyd. We have a seat reserved for you. All right? Because he's on the list of folks that are going to be tried for high treason against the Republic and everything else. Okay? So this is pretty big. We have multiple things going on. As you can see, we have the Brunson case headed to the Supreme Court. It's supposed to be the Supreme Court justices will sit down for a hearing on January 6th to determine whether they can hear the case. We got the government refusing. They waive their rights to argue the case, and so they waive their rights to get the case heard beforehand. They waive the right to get a rebuttal for it, and we have possible civil war within the U.S. military, and we actually have Secretary of Defense of the United States American Corporation threatening the Planetary Liberation Alliance, White House U.S. military division section of the Planetary Liberation Army, threatening them, and we know what they said in response, okay? So, all right, things are escalating really big. Get this story out. Remember, you won't hear any stuff on this on the mainstream media. So, I don't know how long this may be up on YouTube, but we're going to switch it over to our Twitter channel to see see if this stays up longer there, okay? So, with that being said, I want to thank you for joining us another edition of Unheard News. Please be safe, be sound. Let's get it started.